Life often feels like a storm, with challenges, expectations, and stress swirling around us. We wake up to a barrage of responsibilities, endure unpredictable encounters, and navigate an unending stream of opinions. Yet, amidst this chaos, there are those who move with an unshakable calm, as if life's turbulence simply passes them by. They exude a presence so grounded that nothing seems to faze them. What if you could harness this strength and transform every challenge into an opportunity for growth and peace? Buddhism offers profound insights on how to cultivate this inner tranquility. As the Buddha wisely said, "You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger." These words remind us that suffering often stems not from external circumstances, but from our own responses. When we learn to act as if nothing bothers us, we free ourselves from the grip of anger, fear, and anxiety. This journey is not about suppressing emotions, but transforming them through self-awareness, resilience, and mindful living. There is a story of an elder in a quiet village who was renowned for his wisdom. Villagers and travelers alike sought his counsel, believing he possessed answers to every problem. One day, two merchants arrived, their faces flushed with anger, each accusing the other of dishonesty. The elder invited them to sit and share their grievances. He listened intently, saying nothing, allowing the air to fill with their words. Hours passed as the merchants spoke, their voices shifting from rage to frustration, then softening to sorrow. When they finished, the elder spoke only a few words. His calm, deliberate response brought them clarity, bridging the gap between their conflicting perspectives. The merchants left, their dispute resolved, both with newfound respect for each other. This story exemplifies the power of deep listening. It goes beyond simply hearing words. It is about understanding the emotions, fears, and intentions that lie beneath. The Buddha taught, to understand everything is to forgive everything. When we listen deeply, we cultivate empathy and compassion. We see the humanity in others, even when they hurt us. This understanding dissolves anger and opens the door to forgiveness. In today's fast-paced world, true listening is a rare gift. We are often too focused on formulating responses, defending our positions, or making our voices heard. But when we pause, breathe, and genuinely listen, we offer others a space to be seen and understood. This can transform relationships, heal wounds, and build lasting connections. There was a time when I found myself in a heated argument with a dear friend. We had grown distant, each believing the other had wronged them. Our conversations became battles of words, each of us eager to prove our point. One day, exhausted by the conflict, I decided to simply listen. I put aside my need to be right and focused on hearing my friend's pain. For the first time in months, I saw their hurt and fear. In that moment of connection, we began to heal. Our friendship didn't mend overnight, but listening marked the beginning of our reconciliation. Listening twice as much as we speak requires humility and patience. It means letting go of our ego and focusing on the needs of others. This practice deepens our empathy and helps us see the world through new eyes. In family life, listening builds trust and strengthens bonds. Parents who listen to their children without judgment create a safe space for open communication. Leaders who listen to their teams foster collaboration and respect, inspiring loyalty and innovation. To cultivate this practice, be fully present when someone speaks. Give them your undivided attention. Put away distractions and focus on their words and emotions. Resist the urge to respond immediately. Silence may feel uncomfortable, but it allows for reflection and deeper understanding. Show genuine curiosity about the other person's experience and reflect back what you hear to ensure you've understood their perspective. Consider how this might change your daily interactions. Imagine transforming a tense meeting at work into a productive dialogue simply by listening. Picture diffusing a heated argument with a loved one by offering them the gift of your attention. The impact of listening goes far beyond words. It touches the heart. The world is filled with voices, some encouraging, others critical. Social media amplifies this. exposing us to constant scrutiny and judgment. If we let these opinions define us, we become prisoners of external validation. But the Buddha reminds us to focus on our own journey. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. These words call us to be fully present, to trust ourselves, and to walk our own path without being swayed by the noise around us. Imagine you are hiking through a dense forest. Along the way, you encounter people offering directions. Some insist their path is best, while others criticize your chosen route. If you follow every voice, you'll lose your way. But if you trust your instincts and stay focused, you'll find your path. Life is much the same. While advice can be helpful, only you know what feels true to your heart. In my own life, I often struggled with the weight of others' expectations. Whether it was career choices or personal beliefs, there was always a chorus of voices telling me what to do. The fear of judgment held me back. But when I began to listen to my own inner voice, I discovered a sense of freedom and authenticity. Trusting yourself can be daunting, but it is the only way to live a life true to your values. When faced with criticism, ask yourself, does this align with who I am? Is this feedback meaningful, or is it merely noise? Mindfulness helps us detach from the opinions of others and stay grounded in our own truth. Take time to reflect on your values and goals. When criticism arises, pause and ask if it aligns with your truth. Practice mindfulness to stay grounded in the present moment. By focusing on what truly matters, we free ourselves from the weight of others' expectations. Life is unpredictable. Losses, failures, and setbacks are inevitable. The Buddha taught, pain is certain, suffering is optional. This means that while we cannot avoid pain, we can choose how we respond. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means facing reality with courage and grace. A close friend of mine lost his job unexpectedly. First, he was overwhelmed by fear and self-doubt. But rather than succumbing to despair, he chose to accept his situation. He reached out to his network, updated his skills, and stayed open to new opportunities. Within months, he found a position that aligned better with his passions. Acceptance didn't erase his pain, but it gave him the strength to move forward. Acceptance is like a shield that protects us from unnecessary suffering. When we resist reality, we create additional pain. But when we accept life's challenges, we find the strength to adapt and grow. To cultivate acceptance, acknowledge your fears without judgment. Visualize the worst-case scenario and accept it mentally. Focus on what you can control and take practical steps. By preparing for life's uncertainties, we become resilient. We learn to flow with the river of life rather than being swept away by its currents. Failure is not the end. It is a teacher. The Buddha's reminder that each morning we are born again invites us to see every day as an opportunity to grow. When we embrace failure, we transform setbacks into stepping stones. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before perfecting the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10.000 ways that won't work." Each failure brought him closer to success. This mindset is a testament to resilience and determination. In my own life, I have faced failures that felt insurmountable: a failed project, a broken relationship, but each experience taught me valuable lessons about perseverance, creativity, and humility. Embracing failure means seeing it as an opportunity to learn and grow stronger. When you fail, reflect on what you've learned. View setbacks as opportunities for growth. Celebrate the courage to try, even if you fall. Every failure is a chance to rise stronger. Our lives are cluttered with distractions, endless to-do lists, social media notifications, and the constant pursuit of more. Yet, true peace often lies in simplicity. The Buddha said, "The way is not in the sky, the way is in the heart." By focusing on what truly matters, we strip away what weighs us down. Several years ago, I felt overwhelmed by commitments and possessions. My life was filled with stuff, but empty of meaning. I decided to simplify, decluttering my space, reducing obligations, and focusing on what brought joy. The transformation was profound. I felt lighter, more focused, and deeply content. Simplicity does not mean settling for less. It means choosing what aligns with your values. It is about finding peace in the present moment. Identify what clutters your life, physically, emotionally, or mentally. Let go of what no longer serves you. Prioritize what brings you peace and joy. By embracing simplicity, we create space for clarity and contentment. True wisdom is not found in boasting or seeking recognition. It is reflected in our actions. The Buddha taught, "A man is not called wise because he talks and talks again, but if he is peaceful, loving, and fearless, then he is in truth called wise." I once met a renowned leader known for his intellect and accomplishments. What struck me most was his humility. He listened intently, treated everyone with respect, and led with quiet strength. His humility inspired those around him, fostering collaboration and mutual growth. Humility opens the door to learning and connection. When we let go of pride, we create space for empathy and genuine relationships. Approach every interaction with an open heart. Recognize that everyone has something to teach. Lead with empathy and let actions speak louder than words. Wealth and success can be alluring, but they are fleeting. The Buddha's wisdom reminds us, health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth, faithfulness the best relationship. True fulfillment lies beyond material possessions. Consider two people, one who chases wealth relentlessly and another who cherishes simple moments with loved ones. The former may accumulate more, but the latter finds deeper contentment. Material wealth is impermanent, but relationships, health, and inner peace are lasting treasures. Focus on nurturing relationships and your health. Find joy in everyday moments. Recognize that true wealth lies in the heart. There is a well-known Buddhist parable about a farmer who lost his horse. Upon hearing of the misfortune, the villagers expressed their sympathy. "Such bad luck," they lamented. But the farmer simply responded, "Maybe." The next day, the horse returned, bringing with it several wild horses. "How fortunate!" the villagers exclaimed. The farmer's response remained the same, "Maybe." Soon after, the farmer's son tried to ride one of the wild horses, but he fell and broke his leg. Again, the villagers came with their condolences. "Such terrible luck." The farmer, unchanged, replied, "Maybe." Not long after, the army came to the village to recruit young men for war but left the farmer's son because of his injury. The villagers congratulated the farmer on his good fortune. And once more, he said, "Maybe." This story captures the essence of equanimity, remaining balanced and undisturbed by the ups and downs of life. The farmer's ability to accept each situation without attachment or aversion demonstrates the power of living in the present and not being swayed by the transient nature of circumstances. In Buddhism, this is known as upekkha, or equanimity, when we act as if nothing bothers us. We cultivate a state of mind that embraces whatever arises with calm and clarity. Reflective insight. There was a period in my life when I faced a series of unexpected setbacks. A failed business venture, the illness of a loved one, and financial struggles. It felt as if the universe was conspiring against me. First, I was consumed by frustration and self-pity. But as I delved deeper into my meditation practice and reflected on the teachings of the Buddha, I began to see these challenges differently. I stopped labeling them as good or bad and simply accepted them as they were. This shift in perspective didn't change my circumstances overnight, but it changed how I responded to them. Instead of being paralyzed by fear and regret, I found strength in acceptance and presence. The ability to remain grounded in the face of life's unpredictability is a skill we can all develop. It begins with mindfulness, being fully aware of the present moment without judgment. Through consistent practice, we learn to observe our thoughts and emotions without being swept away by them. We become like the farmer, meeting each twist and turn with a calm, "Maybe," In another powerful story, we find the Buddha himself teaching a lesson on anger and forgiveness. One day, while the Buddha was walking through a village, a man approached him and began to insult him. The man hurled words of contempt, trying to provoke a reaction, but the Buddha remained calm, his expression unchanged. After a while, the man grew tired and asked, "Why do you not respond to my insults?" The Buddha replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man answered, "To the one who offered it." Just so, the Buddha said, "I do not accept your insults. They remain with you." This story illustrates the transformative power of detachment and inner peace. By refusing to engage with anger and negativity, the Buddha showed that we have the power to choose our responses. We do not have to internalize the words or actions of others. When we act as if nothing bothers us, we cultivate a shield of awareness that protects our peace. We can acknowledge the emotions that arise, anger, sadness, frustration, without becoming consumed by them. In my own experience, there have been moments when criticism or harsh words felt like personal attacks. My initial reaction was to defend myself, to fight back, but over time, I've learned that not every battle is worth engaging in. Sometimes, the greatest strength lies in choosing not to react. By pausing, taking a breath, and reflecting, we can decide how to respond or not respond at all. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions. It means acknowledging them without letting them dictate our actions. Another story from the Buddha's life speaks to the power of letting go of attachments. Prince Siddhartha, who would later become the Buddha, lived a life of luxury and privilege. He had everything a person could desire: wealth, power, and comfort, but he was not at peace. The suffering he witnessed outside the palace walls haunted him. The sick, the aging, and the dying, determined to find a way to end suffering. Siddhartha left behind his royal life and embarked on a journey of self-discovery. He renounced his attachments to worldly pleasures and comforts, seeking enlightenment through meditation and inner reflection. This story teaches us that true peace does not come from external possessions or status. It comes from letting go of attachments and finding contentment within ourselves. When we cling to material things, we become vulnerable to fear, loss, and disappointment. But when we cultivate detachment, we free ourselves from the cycle of craving and aversion. We become unshakable, like the Buddha under the Bodhi tree, unmoved by the storms of life. In our modern world, we are constantly bombarded with messages that equate happiness with success, wealth, and possessions. We are told that we need more money, more recognition, more likes. But the pursuit of more often leaves us feeling empty and exhausted. The Buddha's teachings remind us to look inward for fulfillment. By letting go of our attachment to external outcomes, we can find true contentment. One practical way to cultivate detachment is through mindfulness meditation. When we sit in meditation, we observe our thoughts and feelings without clinging to them. We become aware of our desires, fears, and judgments, but we do not let them control us. This practice trains our minds to let go and be present. Over time, we develop a sense of inner peace that remains steady. Even in difficult circumstances, the story of the mustard seed offers another profound lesson in compassion and impermanence. A grieving mother named Kisa Gautami lost her only child. In her despair, she carried the child's lifeless body from house to house, seeking a cure. Finally, she came to the Buddha, who told her he could help if she could bring him a mustard seed from a home that had never known death. Kisa Gautami searched, but every household she visited had experienced loss. Gradually, she realized that death is a part of life, and her grief transformed into compassion for others who suffered. This story reminds us of the universality of suffering. No one is immune to loss, pain, or hardship. When we recognize this truth, we develop compassion for ourselves and others. We become less judgmental, more empathetic, and more resilient. Acting as if nothing bothers us does not mean denying our pain. It means accepting it as a shared human experience and using it to cultivate compassion. I remember a time when I faced a significant loss. The pain was overwhelming, and I felt isolated in my grief. But as I opened up to others, I realized that many people carried their own stories of loss and resilience. Sharing our experiences created a bond of understanding and mutual support. This connection helped me heal and find strength in the midst of suffering. Compassion is at the heart of Buddhist practice. When we act with compassion, we break the cycle of anger and reactivity. We see others as reflections of ourselves, deserving of kindness and understanding. This does not mean we must accept harmful behavior or allow ourselves to be mistreated. True compassion includes setting boundaries and protecting our own well-being. But it also means approaching every situation with an open heart and a willingness to see beyond our own pain. The story of Angulimala, a ruthless bandit who terrorized villages, offers a powerful example of transformation through compassion. When the Buddha encountered Angulimala, he did not respond with fear or violence. Instead, he approached the bandit with calm and compassion. The Buddha's presence and words touched something deep within Angulimala, leading him to renounce his violent ways and become a devoted follower. This story shows that even the most hardened hearts can be transformed by compassion. In my own journey, I have seen the power of compassion to heal wounds and mend relationships. There have been times when anger and resentment threatened to consume me, but by choosing compassion, by seeing the humanity in those who hurt me, I found a path to forgiveness and peace. This does not mean condoning harmful actions. It means freeing ourselves from the chains of hatred and bitterness. To cultivate compassion in our daily lives, we can practice loving-kindness meditation. This involves directing positive intentions toward ourselves and others, even those we find difficult. By repeating phrases such as, "May you be happy," "May you be healthy," "May you be free from suffering," we train our hearts to respond with kindness. Over time, this practice softens our judgments and deepens our empathy. The journey to inner peace is not linear. There will be moments of doubt, setbacks, and pain, but every challenge is an opportunity to grow. When we act as if nothing bothers us, we cultivate resilience, compassion, and wisdom. We become like the lotus flower, which rises from the mud to bloom in beauty and purity. The mud represents the difficulties of life, but it also nourishes the lotus, allowing it to flourish. Life is a journey filled with challenges, triumphs, failures, and growth. By cultivating inner tranquility, listening deeply, embracing failure, practicing humility, and focusing on what truly matters, we gain the strength to act as if nothing bothers us. These teachings guide us to a life of peace, resilience, and authenticity. May you find serenity within yourself and courage to face whatever comes your way. May these stories and teachings serve as a guide on your path to inner peace. Embrace each moment with courage, compassion, and mindfulness. When life tests you, remember that you have the strength to remain unshakable, like the Buddha under